Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host here, Chantel Francis. I'm all by myself for now, but Fanta should be joining me a little bit later. And Michelle is on vacay, so she will be back with us next week. But we'll definitely get to know what Michelle's thoughts are about the episode when we go live on Wednesday. And Fanta should join us maybe in about a half an hour so we can hear her opinions on this episode. So just going to be me and you kids for now. But, you guys all know that I love the Challenge All-Stars. So we can just gush over how it's so amazing and so fun, for 30 minutes before we get into the episode when Fanta arrives. So if this is your first time here, welcome. Very happy to have you. Join us in the chat. We love having conversations about our favorite reality TV shows. And today we're talking about All-Stars 2. So please subscribe to Reality Realness with three S's. This episode. Okay, I have to say, the music this episode was top notch. This is what I love about the vibe of this season is that, yes, there's a lot of money on the line and yes, people are giving up a lot, but it really goes back to what I think I fell in love when I started watching the challenge. It was regular people that were on a show that I watched. So they were on either Real World or Road Rules, and they were competing head to head for money, but it wasn't such high stakes money. It was like 20 grand for, everybody that was in the winning team. It was not as high stakes and like a BMX bike and a projector, but people were having a good time. It was like summer camp for big kids. And I love that it's still kind of bringing that aspect into it. And then with the music that they feed in, that reminds me of that era when I was watching many of these people on my TV screen. It just is so nostalgic in a way that's so fun and so positive. Hi, Andre. It's your Friday night girl, and maybe girls shortly. Hopefully for the rest of the season, I will have both Fanta and Michelle if they are available. But it is when they're both showing back to back, it's a big time commitment to do both shows. And so if All Stars was airing on Wednesdays or on Tuesdays, then we would do like a double episode on Wednesdays all together. That would be a lot easier to coordinate. But having it on a Thursday, Fridays don't work all the time for everybody. So you got me. You're stuck with me. Just charming Chantel, but fabulous Fanta hopefully will be here shortly. All right, so Andre says, I bawled my eyes out this episode. One of the better episodes I've watched the challenge, and they didn't need explosions, bombs, spies, or even a mission to get it. Absolutely. I cried myself. I was like boo-hooing. I could see all the people up there that were watching the elimination. They were all crying as well. And it just shows you that real human interactions, people being kind, people digging deep and really showing their humanity is so much more compelling than the fake fights and the explosions and the fake drama of the main season. And I'm with you, Andre. We don't need it. We just need to go back to the basics because what they started out with was gold. Hi, Jorge. So Jorge said this episode was so good. I did not expect to get emotional over it. Me neither. I was not happy that we didn't get an elimination at first. Me neither. So I ended up doing a stream. So I streamed the episode on Twitch. So if you want to join me on Twitch, go to Reality Realness. It's like twitch.tv/Reality Realness, one word. And on Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to start streaming the episode. So if you want to join me and watch the episode together, we can do that. But I did it yesterday for two of my friends and they hadn't seen episode 1. So I played episode 1 and episode 2 together. And they're like, oh my God, what a great episode. I'm like, it wasn't 1 episode, it was 2. They're like, no. I was like, yeah. So they really enjoyed it as a double episode. But for us, that didn't get that luxury. Yeah, it was disappointing, but the outcome of this episode was great. We didn't even need the daily this episode. It really delivered in everything. We got a fight. We got two very strong emotionally driven storylines. So obviously with Derek and his family and why he was playing, and then we see the humanity between Ayanna and Leah at the end. And so there's two very strong emotional moments. We still get the prom night where they're dancing and being silly and dressing up and drinking, and we get the music, and we get the strategy. We get to see the new Nehemiah that's evolving. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, it was, even if it was just half an episode, it was a good half of an episode. But now that I saw the episode, I'm glad, because we got to experience the episode as we should have. Well, I mean, they were still enjoyed it as a double episode. I think I would have enjoyed it more because we'd have that full crescendo. Like, it would just be, it doesn't, like, we were still would be invested, and we wouldn't have to start again and be like, okay, let's get back on this train, or where were we emotionally when we left off. And so it actually flowed really nicely together, knowing that when it was considered a double episode. But I still enjoyed it, so they're forgiven. Oh, Sophie. I mean, I was on time. I was only late a little bit because I wasn't sure if Fanta was coming on at 10 with me, but I was going to be on time, but I was only 3 minutes late. Yes, hi. Yes, music. A plus. A plus. A plus. I thought we were going to have a co-host today. Yes, so Fanta is on her way. Fanta's coming. The only thing I don't like about the season so far is that we don't get a daily and the elimination of one episode. It was only the first time around, Sophie. I believe that they will go back to the regular format because nobody likes that. And I think they know that. Jorge says, I love this cast, just like the last. Just like that the last are here to compete and have a good time. Yes, they are. The tone and the vibe is just vastly different than the main show. Yes. And I think where the main switch on the main season was Total Madness, when they had them in the bunker and they're just trying to make them like not be happy, not see sunlight, be in the bunker for 2 months. Like, that's not it. I don't think it's great fun to be so serious. I think they need to go back to these fun time adult summer camp for money, please. Kretz, whoever got Nehemiah. I don't know who has Nehemiah. I might. I can't remember our drafts. I love the elimination twist. I love that, if you suck, you're going in. It's granted. And then if you win, you get some power and get some agency in the game where you can potentially change your fate. You won't necessarily be thrown back in there again. So it's definitely a great twist, and it's what I think they should bring on the main season. Like, why can't the people that suck be going right into elimination? It works very well. It makes people try harder in the daily and not team up and help a team win and stuff like that. Oh yes, it was really, really sad. I can't believe that he was able to still come on, because like I get really emotionally distraught over situations like that. So I'm proud of him that he was able to work through it, and it was still there to compete for his sister. So rest in peace. So Andrew says, I love the format. Yes, last place goes in. Yes, winner has to nominate 2 options. Oh yeah, well, the winner of the daily, yes, has to put in 4 people. So 2 male, 2 female right now. Maybe it's going to change up. No, I think it's always going to be 4 people. That would make sense, which guarantees hurt feelings and drama, 1 versus 1 eliminations. Absolutely. There's always going to be some drama, because as the numbers go down, eventually your friends are going to be people that you're going to want to be putting in there. And so I can totally see, with everybody knowing each other. We see Leah talking about like, oh, I didn't Instagram people and keep in touch with them, and so that's why like I'm going in. It's like, well, you also haven't been on the show in 18 years, and some of these people have been on in 15 years ago or 10 years ago, and so they've actually played seasons with them. So you know. So why can't they make All Stars episode into an hour and a half like the main one so we can get everything? Sophie, I don't know. I don't know. It's on a streaming site, so I don't understand why they can't make it longer. They have complete free reign to how they give us the content. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Ayanna, yes, wow, she was the Hulk. Absolutely. We will definitely talk about that more when Fanta gets here, but I was beyond impressed by her. And what's really great about what she did in her elimination was that she just turned it on. Like she's hasn't been on the show in like almost 20 years, and she was able to flip that switch and like superhuman power and just dominate and excel and win by a landslide. It was very impressive to watch. And I think it also is going to make people scared to maybe throw her in if she doesn't lose and is, automatically in. And so I think it puts her in a very good position in the game. Because not very many women are going to want to go against her. So I feel like she's going to get to the end. Yeah, Ayanna was simply iconic this episode. Absolutely. Casting gold. I thought it was funny that Chris in the other live was super worried about Ayanna and that she was weak. She proved him wrong. Right? Right. Absolutely wrong. Yes, and we have the life shield back, and we get to see if it plays out because they have it now at the beginning. So I would definitely, I'm happy that we'll get to see how it works, if it works. So the elimination twist was kind of like how they did it in Cutthroat or Free Agents, where you don't get stuck with your partner during it. Yes, that's also great too, that you're not necessarily going up against or working with somebody that might be not great. So kind of like in All-Star or in the main season right now, where you could be doing a team elimination, but then you're working with someone that you've never worked with before. So there's a potential that you could do poorly if you have a bad partner. And so I definitely like how it's separate so far. Maybe they'll change that later on though. Hey, Jelly. Oh my God. Isn't watching on Twitch fun? I definitely am going to be doing that on Thursdays live at 9:30. So I'll play the episode and you can watch it with me. I'll either be by myself or I'll have a couple friends join me, depending. But yeah, I think it's a great opportunity because I know a lot of people that watch the main season can't watch Paramount Plus. So I'm helping them out if I can, as long as I can anyways. By the way, I called the 4 options last week. Okay, fine. I don't remember, but I believe you. Yes, Jelly Donut, Nehemiah and Latarian are fine. Absolutely good looking. Did you see CT retire from the main challenge to go to All Stars? I think that CT might win and he might be done for a while. And if it's like maybe 2-3 years, he'd go to All Stars. I don't think he'd go back to the main season, but I think that he's going to like chill out for a bit. I don't believe his wife really enjoys him on the challenge. And so if he's going to be starting an acting career of some sort, maybe he's going to be working on other projects moving forward. So I don't see him coming back to the main challenge, but I could see him going back to All Stars in a couple years. The life shield works differently this season than last season. I can't remember how it worked last season. But he said that you can't vote. So I guess you would have to, instead of waiting until you got to the elimination like they did last season, you could stop someone from being the house vote in the deliberation. Oh, wait, it's not called deliberation anymore. It's called selection. Do we know what the name of the elimination, like the lair or the arena, did they tell us what the name was? But yes, Ayanna was iconic. TJ was the only one who didn't cry. I also liked how the cast are hyping the people in the elimination and support that they provide. Absolutely. I mean, I think it's because they like both of them, and a lot of them are moms. They know that both Leah and Ayanna are moms, and so there are moms up there. So I think that they are all just feeling for Leah, feeling for Ayanna, feeling for whatever bond they made, and I don't know. It was so good, this elimination. So last season, the winners of the daily got the life shield. Oh, right. Yes, you're right. And then this time it's the winner of the elimination, and they can save whoever gets selected. Gotcha. Thank you. I wonder how many years All Stars will be around. Well, I would hope that it's like another 10 years, like, because then people would start being older, like, as the time goes by, you know? So I hope it sticks around for a while. I feel like it's better for me than the main season. I enjoy it a lot more. Hi, Natalie. So the 38 cast is already in quarantine. Oh my God. Why? I love the challenge. I will always watch the challenge. But can't they make me miss it just a little bit? I remember I used to get so excited because it only came like once a year or like twice a year, maybe. But now having like 3 times a year having challenge content, it's just a little bit much. But I guess it wouldn't come on until like the new year, and maybe we'll have like a month off after All Stars finishes. But they need to just like chill a little bit, you know? Natalie, do they have a dropped cast list yet? Have you seen that? Who will the face of the All Stars franchise be? I mean, we see that it's Darrell and Tina right now. Darrell, if he wins, I think he'll take a break. I mean, might go back to Mark Long. Is it Mark going to be back next season? Maybe it'll be Wes takes that position. Whoa, okay. Oh, sorry. So Gaber hasn't said anything about 38. I was like, whoa, what? What happened? Okay, so I haven't heard anything about who is on that season yet at all. I hope we see some of the rookies from season 38. Because yes, I do too, because we had several good look rookies. Absolutely. I would love to see Priscilla. I would love to see Corey L. I would love to see Michelle and even Tommy. I don't think Tommy's gonna come back though, and Michaela. I'd love to see Esther. I'd love to see what's her name? All of them. Pretty much all of them. I don't maybe even no, not Bettina. Sorry, Bettina. Not Tracy. Huey, I'd see Huey again. Gabo, no thank you. But a lot of them I wouldn't mind seeing again. So maybe they should start making us get to know some of these people a little bit better, you know? I heard Nelson was asked to do All Stars. I know. Nelson and Corey and Nani and Tori. I'm just like, no. N-O. I thought season 38 was going to film in January. I guess not. No, Josh. That will never happen. Michaela must come back. Did I say Josh? I don't want Josh back on at all. I was starting to like him a little bit, but no, I'm done with Josh. That's it for him completely. So Fanta should be here shortly. So let's just talk about like the beginning of this episode. So we see Jodi really feeling a bit scared about like making this decision, and she's going to be having to vote in for people. She doesn't know people that well. She's kind of trusting Derek on what he says, who they should go for, kind of taking his lead. But she is coming across a little bit timid, which I think is funny, but it's like, then don't win, babe. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. What do you think was the best part of this, the beginning part of this episode is like Jodi's kind of scared here to make a decision. And then we have Derek, who also usually plays the middle and doesn't really want to show where his alliances or allegiances are. And so they call Ayanna, who's automatically going to be going into the lair or whatever, the arena. And it's kind of asking her, who does she want to help them make their decision a little bit better? And she's such a boss that she's like, whoever you give me, it doesn't matter. When she was a D1 like runner in track, she couldn't choose who her opponents were. So whoever they decide that they want to throw down against her, that's who she's going to go against. And so she didn't help them out at all, which I thought was hilarious. So Logan and Corey L were my fave. I love Logan too. I just forgot about him. I'm not a fan of Emmanuel right now, just because he's with Tori, and I'm not a big fan of Tori. And I didn't like how he was kind of bossing around Amanda when he doesn't really know her that well. So, but he's decent though. Corey L is fake. Really? What? Tell me what happened. Emmanuel, Emmy, Logan. Oh, Emmy, maybe not because of that whole saying the N-word in her song when she was doing Nicki Minaj on X Factor? Or one of those singing shows. And Logan, I could see back for the Challenge 38. I could, but maybe not. Maybe not. So then also they call over Nehemiah to see who Nehemiah wants. Now, I want to know what you guys in the chat think about this rivalry that's going on between Nehemiah and Derek. How did this happen? I can't fully remember how this rivalry started. They've been on seasons together from way back. Nehemiah was on Real World Denver, I think, with Melinda and Wes. He used to have a rivalry with Wes. Did it start out? Is Wes friends with Derek, and Derek was just kind of like siding with Wes, and that's why they have a rivalry? I can't remember. Natalie, help. We can only have 10 minutes of All-Stars. We only have 10 minutes of All-Stars like we did last season. With the amount of people, we could have seen a couple of purges during the season. Oh, only have 10 episodes. Sorry. Yeah. I know we definitely could have more, but I think that what's appealing to a lot of these people that are coming on to All-Stars is the fact that it's a shorter season. They don't have such a huge commitment. And then also with the fact that they're going to have to quarantine before they can go on the actual show, it just means that they're taking a lot of time for most of them away from their families, which isn't ideal. So I think that they'll always keep All-Stars at around 10 episodes. So I'm happy with that because it leaves me wanting more. I couldn't have used one episode more last season. I think there was only 9. Now they have 10. So I think that it'll be good. Coriel lied to Amanda about Fessy and always plays a victim. He also loves Big Delusion. Big D? Oh boy, that's a problem. So I do remember when Coriel was talking to Amanda, or on Twitter, and it was when they went out with Gisela, and it was the time where you saw the footage of Fessy talking to some girl in a club, in a bar, and so Corey and Amanda were talking, and Corey didn't say the truth of what happened. Was like, oh, I was so drunk, I was blacked out, and she's like, how could you be blacked out? You're having full-on conversations with me. You talked about going to eat pizza. So he's being a little bit messy, but maybe it's just to get the invite back. So do I think that they would think more from Are You the One to the main challenge? I have heard that some have been alternates for the past few seasons. I don't know why they haven't been pulling from Are You the One. They haven't had a season since season 8, which was the gender fluid fluid sexuality as well season. We did get Amber M from that season. I guess that was pretty much it. I'm not sure why they haven't pulled from there. I know a lot of people that went on in the past on the Real World or the Road Rules or Are You the One were hoping that they would get the invite to the challenge. So I'm very surprised that more people haven't crossed that threshold. Do I think they'll get more people from the circle to be part of the main challenge? I don't know how Ed got in there. He must have like great publicists because they're not on the same network at all. No, just because it seems like they want to stick for the most part with MTV shows. And who from the circle going on the challenge? I can't think of anybody that I've heard say that they want to do it. So I'll say no. Real World Austin. Sorry, yeah, it's in Denver. You meant Austin is correct. Thank you, Melinda, Danny, and Wes. Absolutely. I can't remember the other two people from that season. Was her name Casey? Not Casey. The girl with the black hair, short black hair. Gisela and Michaela being BFFs makes me so happy. I know I have like I screen grabbed a time when they went out and then like they ended up smoking some weed. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to post their Instagram live. But yes, they were hanging out and like it was great to watch them together and having a good time together. RD1 got major problems. Cough, cough. Lauren Zins. Tell me more. I know this name. Lauren Zins. Is that the casting producer that allowed for sexual misconduct to happen? I don't remember Jelly Donuts. So much information's in my head. I don't remember right now. I want to see All Stars in the main challenge to have some sort of crossover event. I can deal with a crossover event. That'd be fun. Nice and epic. I know Max from season 8 of Are You the One was an alternate for season 35 and 36. I don't even remember Max. Hey, Dolores, did I hear about casting being done for a new show called The Traitor? No, Dolores, what network? Tell me about it. I want to apply. I wouldn't be good at it though. I can't lie that well. Chloe VH has to do the challenge at some point. She's been on like every show. Oh, Chloe from she was on Too Hot to Handle 1, right? Yes. And The Circle 2. I mean, I could see her getting the call, to be honest. Is Amber bi or a lesbian since she was part of that Fluid Are You the One season? I think she was bi, but I think she only had interactions with I don't remember. I think she was bi or open. I don't think she pan maybe. But yes, Jelly is right. Are the One has issues, which is why the latest season has been delayed. Ooh. Okay, so I did remember the situation. Yeah, they have a new challenge spinoff coming soon. Not much tea on that. I'm interested. I will have to send you the information. All it said was on the streaming network, and it appeared that it was going to be filmed in the UK come spring. I want to know more. So I'm gonna go and do some research after I get off of here. Let's see where Fanta is. I'm still here. Let's blow through it. Okay, so back to the episode. So Nehemiah talks to Derek. And while they're having this conversation, like talks to Derek and Jodi about like who he would like to see in there. And his number one choice was Ryan because he has gone up against Ryan in an elimination before and he has been victorious. So it would make a lot of sense as to Ryan be someone that he would like to go up against. And then the other option was maybe Derek to put up beside him. Now, I just think it was very bad gameplay on Derek's behalf to be asking both of them who they wanted and then not give Nehemiah who he wanted. Now, I totally get it. You're friends with Ryan, or you like Ryan and you don't want to send him in, but kind of don't bother asking Nehemiah who he wants if you're not going to give it to him. I thought it was a bad move and it just kind of reinforced their rivalry. And I just don't think that Nehemiah is going to forgive him and let it down. I could see Ed's brother from the circle to appear on the challenge next. I could, now that he has an in with casting. Excuse me for being horrible at staying on top of it. Don't worry. When I'm by myself, it is all good. Because we're just having a chat. I thought Are You the One was canceled. I don't know what the state is of Are You the One. Definitely delayed. Maybe canceled, but I haven't heard specifically. I heard about the new challenge spinoff. I don't know that much about it either. Well, I did see that Dolores sent me something, so I will take a peek at that after this pod. Well, I was happy that Nehemiah is getting more serious. I do think he overreacted. I do agree with you about Derek, but also he is not required to give him what he wanted. I get it. I get he's not required to give him what he wanted, but also don't bother asking if you're just going to do what you want, right? It doesn't do anything but annoy Nehemiah. And it's not like it's later on in the game where there's like less people to choose from, and these are people that you've made connections with all game. Like, it's the first time around. It's actually the time where you can throw in pretty much anybody and kind of get away with it. So the fact that he bothered asking him, I think he should have honored it. It's my opinion. So Derek was surprised that Steve got a lot of votes. He thought that Steve wouldn't have gotten that many votes. And he probably was hoping that Steve would take out Nehemiah because Steve seems like a strong, big guy. Hi, Tatiana. So Tatiana says, I know that people think that Jodi is a winner pick, but she's always overtly emotional. And I think that that will be her downfall moving forward. Yes and no. I do think, though, that people will be scared of her. And I also think that she's not going to be last that often, if ever. So the chances of people calling Jodi to go down against are really low. And that's why I think that she will get to the end and have the potential of running that final, because who's going to pick her? I don't see Jonna picking her to go in. I don't see Jasmine picking her to go in. Maybe Ayanna, because she doesn't seem to care who she goes against. So maybe she would call her down. But they're from that older era. I don't think that she would. Also being like a road rules person. So I just don't think that Ayanna would be somebody that Jodi would call down ever, or would call down Jodi ever. Melinda wouldn't. I just don't see anybody calling her out. But she does get overtly emotional, but she's still very good and very intimidating to the other women, I think. And the men would want to have her as a partner. So I see her being protected, to be fair. Side point, but the cast roasting Derek for his outfit was very funny. Absolutely. So what do we think about Derek's outfit? How did we feel that he was rocking his two-piece suit? What are our thoughts? I mean, I thought I could picture myself wearing it. I also picture Casey wearing it. It seems like an outfit or a look that Casey from the mains challenge would wear. Do you see Robin show up on who's Rob? Oh, Robin. Future season of All Stars, since Mark had an on-off relationship over the years. Well, I think that she'd be pissed at Mark. I think that they left on bad terms, I think. Robin is quite messy. She would be very good All Stars casting. So I'd like to see her. Detroit did look like Tuscan Sam with the outfit. Is Derek from Detroit, or was this just a typo that he was wearing with Tuscan Sam with that outfit that he's wearing? Yeah, it just didn't really suit his personality, in my opinion. Like, I could see a Teck obviously wearing something like that. I could see Casey from the main season wearing something like that. It just didn't suit Derek, in my opinion. Oh, okay. I was like, who is in Detroit? Is he from Detroit? I don't know about that. The shirt was cute, but the pants were a no. I mean, it just wasn't his style. And it's probably like maybe his like wife bought it for him, and like he's like, I'm gonna wear this for my wife. Not a toucan. LOL, he's been sporting the two-piece suit since episode 1. I guess, yeah, he has been wearing some outfits. So being from South Florida area, I see a lot of people from the Keys wearing shirts like that and didn't think anything of it. I think it was just like, is Derek from Florida? I definitely do see people wearing shorts like that or shirts like that for sure. I'm not always the whole suit, but definitely a shirt or pants. I've seen both separate, but not many people can pull out the look, the double look, you know? Okay, so Neil, as I said once, Ryan, um, and we find out that that's not who Derek wants to put in. Derek feels he has a pretty good relationship with Ryan, and so he's going to put in Steve because Steve decided to comment, and I didn't even think it was that serious on Derek's outfit. So Derek is very upset about the fact that Steve didn't like his outfit. Oh, in perfect timing to weigh in on Steve's outfit, it's going to be Fanteezy.
Steve's outfit or Derek's?
Did I say D?
You said Steve's outfit.
Oh, I meant Derek. Yes. I was talking about Steve and how he felt about Derek's outfit. And I was like, what he said wasn't so bad. What did you think of the outfit and that whole interaction as a reason for Derek to be putting Steve into potential elimination?
I mean, I just thought it was really funny. Like Derek was just so funny this whole episode where he's like, oh, I'm such a badass. Like I'm like a strategic god and like all of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you're not. You never have been. And putting Steve in, like his outfit was ridiculous. And I thought it was hilarious that everybody was making fun of it. And yeah, I think putting Steven was like a scared move for him because he was like, I don't want to put anybody else in because I'm scared of like the backlash.
Well, I mean, we know that he was playing scared. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about, is where did the rivalry between Derek and Nehemiah come from? I can't remember the inciting incident. Is it just for the fact that, like, is Derek and Wes friends? And then, Wes didn't like Nehemiah for a long time. Is like that why their rivalry started? Like, I just don't remember what happened. Do you?
I don't remember either. Like, I feel like, wasn't it All Stars 1?
But I feel like it was before that.
Really? I couldn't remember. I thought like I was trying to remember yesterday, but I thought it was like, I thought it was like All Stars 1.
You got your fan here, Fanta. Sophie says Fanta still has the best challenge sheets for both All Stars and the main one. Well, do you know what? She is definitely getting some like points with the main season with her team right now. She has the full Sapphire cell, which is really great. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like All Stars is kind of a toss up. I feel pretty confident with the main season. Like that's pretty undeniable. But for All Stars, I'm not quite sure.
Yes, not quite sure at all. I mean, anybody can go anybody's way because I don't know how it's actually going to shake out. Like some people, we were just talking about it before, think that Jodi is definitely a winner pick, but then other people thinking that she plays too emotionally and that she won't be able to get to the end. I think that no woman is going to want to go up against Jodi, and I don't see her going in the bottom very often, if ever. So I do see Jodi making it at least to the final. So I could see her being a contender there for sure.
I agree.
Totes agree. So, what did you love how Ayanna did not give them a name because they're both playing so scared, like they didn't want to say anybody's name and they wanted like Ayanna to tell them who she wanted, and then Anna's like, I don't need to choose my opponent. Like whoever you want, whatever, I'll go against them. And they're just like, I was like, darn it, I wanted them to like her to give me somebody.
I know. I see what you're saying, and I like both. I like when people are confident enough that they're like, I don't care, which is rare. Most times people are like, okay, I want to pick the weakest person. But the fact that she was like, I don't care, and she hasn't done a challenge in like 17 years was pretty badass.
It's pretty badass. But then when Nehemiah goes and gets the same sort of treatment, he tells them who he wants, and then Derek decides not to give him who he wanted. I thought that was a very bad move on Derek's part. What did you think?
Yeah, Derek isn't a strategist.
I know.
And especially like that's the thing, like when you're already on rocky ground with somebody, like it doesn't make sense. Like I know he was like, okay, we'll give you one, but maybe not the other. But he didn't really give him either. Was it?
No, he
like,
gave. I think he wanted Ryan and Derek, so he gave him Derek, but he wanted Ryan.
So I don't know. I just think like don't go and ask the person.
Oh, thank you, Sophie, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, I just think like don't even ask Nehemiah. And Nehemiah is like on a tear this season.
Yes, I do like this new side of Nehemiah that's emerging. I don't know if it's going to bode well because I do think having enemies in the game isn't great for your longevity because they're always going to try to get you out. And so one person will prevail. I don't know who it will be, but it's just not necessarily good to have somebody that would be willing to throw you in, doesn't want you to come back, will try to do anything to get you taken out of the game. That's not a great position to be in, but I do like that he's coming back with a new attack. I love the scene. So after the nominations are done and they decide to nominate out of the women, it's going to be Casey and Leah. No real surprise. They're expecting Leah to be the one that the house decides on because Casey has a lot more friends in the game. And then they had Steve and Derek C. So Derek C was obviously very upset, same with Jonna and Jasmine, but Derek's thinking that Steve is not going to have any votes and that Derek is going to be the one that's going to be safe for sure and that Steve might have a chance of taking out Nehemiah. That's what I think Derek's thought process was. But then Nehemiah has a conversation with Casey and Melinda and she's like, well, you got to go and tell everybody who you want. And so then he goes and he talks to everybody and says like, I'm here to play. This is who I want. Please give me Derek. That's who I want down in the arena or whatever it's called. So I loved that. He would never have done that before. I love that Casey's giving him very good advice to move forward in the game. And I was so here for that moment because when we get to the deliberation, also known as the selection, we see Jonna is pissed because her friend Derek is up there, but she also got wind that Nehemiah wanted Derek. Loved it.
I know. I love how it, and they said this at some point in the episode, but I love how like quickly everybody like, because normally it's like, oh, like we're all OGs and everything's fun and happy, and it just turns so quick on a dime. So I love that. Like I love that the old relationships die hard and like Cancun is staying strong, and you know, like you see like Nehemiah and Melinda, and you're like, oh yeah, like real world Austin. So I liked all of it. I enjoyed all of the drama and the strategizing. It was great.
So one thing that I was thinking about though is the fact that Jonna kind of calls out Nehemiah. They were fine. Like they were good enough friends season 1 of All Stars. I thought personally that it might have been a little bit of a bad move for Jonna to be like, hey, like, why are you calling out my friend? Like, if you like, you can come for me, that's fine, but you can't come for my friend. Like, Nehemiah, why are you saying that you want to go against Derek? I was like, that's not really great for your position in this game necessarily to call him out like that in front of everybody. What do you think about that move from her?
Oh, I agreed. I don't know. That was tough because I love Jonna. But I was like, this is the name of the game. Like people have to go after people, and how like Nehemiah obviously doesn't want to go home first. Like, what do you want him to do?
Absolutely. And sorry that it's your friend, but So Tatiana was saying, I noticed that he called out the LGBT members. Seems like he thinks that they are weaker. What do you think about that? The two people that he wanted to go out up against happen to be LGBT.
I don't really think. I'm just looking at
The rest of the
the
cast.
list right now. I don't really think like. I think it's just like because they're smaller guys. I don't think because like he didn't call out Tyler.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody's going to call out Tyler
Like
necessarily.
like he's just looking for like he's like, okay, who can I beat? And I think that he's close. He's friends with Kohara, right?
Probably they're from around the same era.
Yeah, Kohara voted for Derrick, right? Yeah. So that no, I don't think that's a thing. I think he was just like, I want to just go against like the smallest person. Like I don't want to go home first. That did
and
not.
he did say also that he's beaten Ryan before in a past season. So
Yeah.
like that, if I've gone against somebody and won, I'd probably be like, well, I can probably do that again. So
Yeah.
sorry, Ryan. So
Yeah,
some point.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing.
We did get some fight points though, because like after this deliberations going, I don't know who brought it up, but it became known that Nehemiah originally wanted to have Ryan be one of the options to be going down against, and that's who he originally wanted to be his opponent. And so 5 and 5 points. I don't remember whose team is whose right now, but 5 points there.
I have Ryan and Nehemiah.
Look at you. Okay, whatever. You still have Casey and Melinda.
I know, but who knows?
Who knows? That's true. They're both better. They're stacked up pretty better than Leah was. Absolutely. I don't have Leah. Michelle did, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, Michelle has Leah.
So I loved at the end though, Ayanna at the end of the deliberation was like, okay, let's leave all this negative energy, all this animosity right here on the table, and let's go to that prom. So this is your jurisdiction, Fanta. How was the prom, the outfits, the music, the dancing? What was the prom like for you here?
So many men in drag.
It's true.
Like Tyler, Derek, was Ryan in drag too? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But yeah, like people were like hyping each other up. Like it was cool because I love that Ayanna was like, let's just have fun tonight. And she was hyping Leah up and like, saying like, hey, like no matter what, we're on the same team. Like I'm rooting for you, Leah to her, I'm rooting for you. So that was kind of cute. Yeah, everyone just kind of had their fun like 90s era prom thing, even though some of these people are like close to my age. So I was like, wait a sec. But yeah, I mean, obviously the saddest part of it was Johnny finding out about Derrick's sister, unfortunately committing suicide. So that was very sad.
It was very sad, and like it was not that I want anything like this to ever happen to anybody or to have to experience this within your family, but these were the real moments that were missing from the main season. Like there was like she saw her friend sitting there and was visibly upset, and she wanted to go and talk to him, and she has a relationship with him from before even going on to their real world season. She knows his sister, and it was just like it's like that history that we're missing with all these new players. Like they have the new history with the Big Brother whatever alliance, so like they've known each other for 4 years, whatever, but like this is like history. And it was just like a really beautiful moment showing that like, we are part of this journey, our life journey together. And, I'm here to support you how I can. So I thought it was a beautiful moment of showing humanity and just seeing the real stuff. That is what these shows kind of allow us to get to witness, real human interactions. And potentially heartfelt moment. So I didn't want it to happen, obviously, but I thought it was a beautiful moment that they shared.
I agree. I mean, it was just it really brings the real back to real world. It just, there was no part of it where I was like, oh, this seems like really contrived, like a lot of shows do, and especially like Survivor's super guilty of that, where it's like they're doing a confessional and like you can just really tell it's like production that's like prodding these things out of people. But that was like a genuine real moment. I was just like so heartbroken. Like I still obviously feel for Derek. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like it was just so real and raw. And yeah, I appreciate that, you know, there isn't a producer that's like in confessional, like, okay, Derek, tell everyone what happened. Like, for
Exactly.
sure.
It wasn't, they didn't use it it wasn't exploitative. It seemed honest. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So, continue on with the episode, and we're here, we hear the sister story, and what I thought was also really beautiful is like, so Derek and Leah will be going down into the elimination, and he gets Jonna to write like his sister's name on his arm with a heart around it. And it was just such a weird position with this actual elimination, because I so wanted Derek to win for his sister, saying like his sister's there looking down on him, giving him support, and like, people really want him to win for that reason. But then for the game reason, I really wanted Nehemiah to win. And so I was like between two, like push and pull. I'm like, oh, it would be so poetic for Derek to win. But I'm like, oh, but for the game, I want Nehemiah to win. So I was really in between two worlds there, back and forth with like who I wanted to win.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I felt kind of like, it just felt very rotten because, Derek, the poor guy, like he found out like the day before he left, which is just insane. And then for him to like go all that way and then just to go home first, like that's tough. Like I definitely wish that Derek could have gone farther. But yeah, also at the same time, I was like, I don't want Nehemiah to go home either.
Exactly. It was a very, very hard position. So do we know what the name of the elimination is called?
No, I don't actually. I was gonna make something up, but
I've been calling it the lair or the arena or whatever it is.
oh yeah, that I don't know. I think the arena, but I could be wrong.
Well, they changed the deliberation, as I said, to selection. I would assume that they did change it, but I just didn't take notice of it. But whatevs. So it's Derek versus Nehemiah first. I do like how they made it like kind of a gladiator style like opening. I think they were practicing, so it's the same editors from the last episode of the challenge, where they made it seem like they were like coming out for the fight, MMA styles, like seeing them in their coming through their hallways. I really liked it though on All Stars. Like, you can get gimmicky on All Stars for me. I'm definitely going to enjoy it.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
And the first matchup was Derek versus Nehemiah. And these coffins, so they had to pull three different coffins. Once they open up the coffin, it's either going to be empty or it has one of two puzzles, like kind of one's find how many numbers are in something, and the other one was like a very simple like logic puzzle. But they had to hook a chain onto the coffin and pull the coffin and then put the ring on the other side of the arena. So these coffins looked heavy. I think I heard someone say it was 300 pounds. And so Derek was taking a lot of time in the first coffin that he opened, where he had to find all the number 4s, while it seemed like Nehemiah, who was struggling, but like showing that he was very strong, and it seemed very heavy, and he managed to get almost completely through one round and get his ring on before Derek even started to pull his first coffin. What did you think about this elimination between the guys in general?
Oh, it was a nail biter. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I was really surprised with Derek. Like, he really held his own. I mean, he he scared the shit out of me with the way that he was like pulling things like with his back, and like I was like, oh my God, this is not sustainable. But yeah, he definitely, like you said at the end, he definitely gave Nehemiah a run for his money. And it was, I liked the elimination. I thought it was very interesting. It encompassed a lot of different things. So
Me too. I loved that there was strength, there was endurance, there was like being able to figure out these little puzzles like while you're frantic and like everybody's screaming at you. Like it definitely was a well-rounded, I felt, elimination. And even though he was supposed to be a layup, I think that Derek really held his own. He didn't lose by much. It wasn't like a blowout and like Nehemiah was way ahead of him. No, like he definitely could hold his head up high and know that like against most other people, he might have been able to win, or at least half the rest of the cast. So I was happy that he had a good showing, because I know he was a little bit upset that at least one of the times that he was on previously, he went out first already. And so he hasn't really experienced going deep into any of these games yet. So hopefully he will learn a little bit, come back, train a little bit more. It could always help. And like maybe he could take a W, or at least get to the end. So I'm happy with how he did. I'm also happy with the outcome, because I do feel the need to see how the rest of the season goes with him and Derek. Like, Nehemiah, you better annihilate Derek. Like, I need to see it.
And that's the thing. It's a great setup. It's one of those things where it's like Derek did not want Nehemiah to come back for obvious reasons. And he can, like he's kind of on his list now. Mm-hmm. So, if the roles were reversed, like when Nehemiah, he's like, okay, now I've got to win a daily. Because if Nehemiah wins a daily and Derek's at the bottom for whatever reason, he's not going to give Derek who he wants.
No, he won't even ask him, I don't think. Or like maybe they'll do a fake like, oh yeah, like, don't worry, bro, like beef is squash, and then be like, F that. So I'm waiting for that moment. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the main event, who knew the main event was going to be Ayanna versus Leah in the same challenge? I was so impressed by this elimination. Ayanna, who we already mentioned, hasn't competed in 17, 18, 19 years, like a long ass time, was powering through these coffins like they were light, like they were empty, like they were.
So this is a question I had. Were the women's coffins also 300 pounds?
I don't think it was 300 pounds. I would say half or 200. I can't imagine them giving I don't think I could budge 300 pounds.
Yeah, because like the way Ayanna's like coffins were like lifting up off the ground, I was like, I was like, I would be totally shocked if
it'd have to be half or maybe 200 pounds if that's the case. Because 300 is just too, women don't usually have as much upper body strength. And it just, that would be dangerous for like everybody's backs, like to be pulling something that's such a strain and like trying to, it'd be too bad liability. Mm-hmm. But whatever weight it was, she made it look like it was like a feather. It was so light how she pulled those coffins over. And I did not expect to be crying on Thursday evening, but I was crying because Ayanna, after she wins, she goes over to Leah and is making like, no, you got to hold your head up high, and helps her complete the round with her coffin. I don't know if she did all of them, but at least the one that she was working on.
Just the one she was working on.
And I cried. Did you cry?
No, I did not cry.
Did you get it?
I was like, I mean, I appreciated the moment and I thought it was like really cool and everything.
Wind beneath my wings. Come on, Fanta.
And like, I was just like, wow, like everyone is just like a super powder keg of them. Like everybody was crying. Like Kendal was like sobbing. Latarian was crying. But TJ was just stone faced, like staring like, TJ doesn't cry, I'm sure. But yeah, I think I'm a little bit cold-hearted, but I didn't cry. I did appreciate the the moment. But I was just still feeling like I was like, oh, Derek, like, yeah, that was where I was at.
Totally get that, but like Wind Beneath My Wings is a song from Beaches that's like pretty sad. So watched that when I was younger many times and cried a lot. So it was all encompassing. And then with the Derek of it all, like it was a very, in my opinion, emotional episode for me. So Adrian says, Ayanna helped me out. Leah up when they're about to go into elimination together shows Ayanna's got class. Yes, they were definitely hyping each other up, talking about that we're mothers here. Like no matter what, like one of us is going to win, but that's okay. Like I think Ayanna was a really good at making Leah not feel bad about losing against her and also not feel that bad about going into elimination. So Ayanna is actually, I don't think she's going to be called in by anybody. I think she's going to get to a final.
Yeah, no one is gonna want to. I mean, unless she
sucks again,
unless she loses a daily, which
it depends on obviously who she's partnered with or whatnot. I mean, you could tell that obviously it's possible, but I also don't see her losing again. Like I think that she got the taste of it, and like I don't think she's gonna let that happen again. She'll be sleeping in that uniform, sleeping in it. Yes, we loved Ayanna or helping her out. It was definitely all class. That real moment is something we haven't seen in a while in the main season. Yes. Yep, Jodi and Derek were co-workers back home. They worked at the same job, if I can recall correctly. Yes, they were waitressing or working in a restaurant together at one point. So I don't know if you all know this, but congrats on Casey's pregnancy. Yes, I did hear that. And her due date is March 22nd, 2022. If I've calculated correctly, she possibly conceived back in July and also started filming in late July. So it could be another person. I guess, yeah, she must have been pregnant when she went on the challenge.
And you know what, guys? People are banging. They're smashing, and that happens. Everyone is like, oh my God, and yet another person.
Well, I think it's because it's so risky to go on these shows if you're pregnant, right? So it's just the fact that like it just keeps on happening. Why isn't that a screening just for the health of the baby and the mother? Because there could be complications if something goes wrong, right? Like you'd think that part of their testing would be a pregnancy test, or maybe is that a violation of privacy?
Could be.
I'm just wondering, they do so many tests and psych tests and this test. Like I would hope that they would test for pregnancy when they're testing for like drugs and whatever else.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm happy that she's pregnant. If it's a challenge baby, it's gonna come out scrapping. And you know what? I'm happy to see Casey back on my screen, though. She's just with that one conversation with Nehemiah. I'm like, maybe you got something new kicking in ya. Oh, maybe it's the baby giving her some life. It wasn't intentional, okay? It wasn't intentional. If Casey got pregnant in July during filming, I wonder if they will show it on the Challenge All-Stars. What? No. With who? Who's her part? She's married, isn't she?
She's married.
I thought this elimination was pretty solid. Yeah, I thought it was very good elimination. Give that to people in the main season too. I want to see people work harder. Like actually the most recent elimination, they did work pretty hard. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Tatiana wholeheartedly agrees. I don't think that Jodi will get called out to the elimination, but I could see her performing poorly in a daily due to her emotional nature. She is not a pressure player, but she doesn't mess up dailies.
Yeah.
She can rein it in. Yes, Ayanna is killing it. For sure, she lost to Veronica in elimination because she could not pull herself together and focus. Okay, I don't remember that. But I feel like she's going to be okay. Is there anything else about this episode that you want to chat about before we say sayonara for this week?
Can't think of anything. We covered like all the big points, like Derek's like pajama get up, man romper situation.
It wasn't a romper though.
No, it wasn't, but it was like
in that
it was pretty silly.
But I have to say, another excellent episode. I was telling them before that I watched episode 1 and episode 2 with Jonathan and JoJo, and they watched it all the way through, and they thought that, like, oh my god, what an amazing first episode. And I was like, no, it was in 2, and they're like, oh man. So I think it would have worked really well as a double episode. It would have been really fun.
Yeah, it makes sense that I can see why they did split it up, because there's just like a lot of like emotional stuff happening in this episode.
It's very true. And maybe it's also paying wise, like maybe like in part of their contract, maybe they had to do a certain number of episodes, and so maybe they had to break it down that way, maybe.
Yeah.
To get paid for 2 as opposed to just 1 episode. So Adrian says, I think that I have Derek C. I do. I have both Dereks, and Fanta does have. No, Michelle has Leah.
Yeah, Michelle has Leah. I do not have Leah.
Do not have Leah. Yes, Adrian, we do need to hear Michelle's opinion on this because she has Ayanna on her team. I'm sure she's going to be pumped. I don't know if she's watched All Stars yet. She will be pumped though to have Ayanna on her team. It made her team even stronger. I wasn't sure how Ayanna was going to end up performing, coming back. Definitely pleasantly surprised by how awesome she did.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yes. Thank you, Andre. You and I are the wind beneath Andre's wings. Beautiful. Well, thank you for popping in here, fans. I know you had a long week at work, so I really appreciate you coming by to say hello, give us your opinion here. All Stars in general, I think, will be a little bit faster. I think it'll just be it's like 40 minutes. Like, we can zip through that in half an hour. So it's less of a commitment for sure than that hour and a half of a main season. But thank you so much for being here, and thank you everybody in the chat. If you're watching this after, please of course subscribe to the channel. We love having you guys hang out with us in the chat. Also on Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, I will be streaming episode 3 on Twitch. So I do have my Twitch channel in the description box below, but it's also Reality Realness with 3 S's. So twitch.tv/Reality Realness. And yeah, we'll be going live at 9:30 p.m. where we can watch that together if you can't watch it on Paramount Plus. So come hang out with me and do that. And then who do you think at this point has the best team? Now that we've seen these players kind of in action a little bit, take a look at our teams and let us know, who do you think now, what's the order, first, second, and third of how these teams are going. And I will have an updated points list and draft. I'll put that on Reality Realness on Instagram. That's all I got. Oh, thanks. You're so kind, Tatiana. Much appreciated.
Thank
and
you.
We will see everybody next week. Bye.
Bye.